You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey B&B fans, Belinda from Soap Dirt here, and I want to talk today about big things happening when Thomas Forrester is back from Forrester Creations Paris. His comeback is going to have a huge impact on Hope and Steffy, Liam, Finn, and a whole pile of Forresters. We're going to explain why he's been MIA at the soap opera and what is next for Matthew Atkinson and Thomas. But first, please click subscribe if you have not. So back in December, Matt Atkinson got married to Brittany Ratledge, and it looks like he took an extended honeymoon. They got married at the end of the year and then took their honeymoon more recently, and it looks like it was a longer trip traveling around Great Britain and Europe. So that's part of the reason that they temporarily wrote Thomas out of the CBS soap so he could have this lengthy honeymoon, which is great. And that's also why his exit was kind of so abrupt. I mean, Thomas proposed, got rejected, and left town in one or two episodes, and now he's coming back. So I showed a little spoiler photo in the early edition Bold and Beautiful Weekly Spoilers video. You can see it below or on the Bold playlist. It's a picture of Romy Park and Joshua Hoffman, who play Poppy and RJ. They're being silly, playing with their hair, but it's the studio monitor in the background that's the big deal. They have monitors all over the place backstage, if you didn't know about this, at soap operas and other TV shows. And it always shows what is being filmed on the primary stage that day. And right there, you can clearly see Thomas. So he has started filming again recently. We've heard his first air date back is mid-June. Bear in mind, July Sweeps actually starts June 27th, so we're going to get lots of drama on his return during the next big ratings push. No matter what day he is back, Thomas's return is going to change a lot of things. So the first thing I think Thomas's return is going to accomplish is that it is going to end this awkward, cringy flirtmance between Finn and Hope. I mean, every time I see this, the first thing that strikes me, zero chemistry. The second thing is that it feels very forced. Like the actors have been given the scripts and they're going through this, but it's just like not watchable as a romantic pairing. I think the Finn and Hope thing was just something for fans to focus on and grasp onto while Thomas was gone off the scene. I mean, Steffy would actually kill her if she shagged Finn. And Finn, keeps being kind of crappy about Thomas while simultaneously defending Sheila, which is problematic at best. So Thomas needs to return and stake his claim. If he is going to take that tactic, I'm not sure if he will. But at any rate, I'm quite certain that Thomas's return is going to be the end of Hope's stress headache and Finn, rubbing her back and blah, blah, blah. All right. The next thing I think from Thomas coming back is that I think he's going to be there to protect Hope from this new Sheila threat. Back when Sheila was first released, when the charges were dropped, because Bill and Ridge were being stupid, Liam promised Steffy he would protect her and the kids. He didn't bother to go over and check on Hope. So instead, Thomas told Hope that he was going to keep her and the kids safe when Liam just didn't care about the threat that Sheila might represent to them. So I'm guessing even from Forrester Creations Paris that Thomas probably has heard that Sheila is back to life, and I could totally see him returning to protect Hope, even if they weren't together as a couple. And hearing that Hope is going to their wedding this week, which she definitely is, might trickle over across seas with the Forrester Gossip Network, and that might get Thomas to come back even faster. Hope thinks Sheila has changed, but I think Thomas is not going to believe that, although he might since he has changed, but I definitely think he may want to correct Hope's thinking on this. And with Deacon pulling her in closer to his life and closer to Sheila, Thomas may show up to pull her back out. The third thing Thomas needs to do is save Hope for the future again. RJ, Zende, and Luna are struggling to work together. You know, word is spreading about what happened between the three of them. Hope still doesn't know. And Zende sleeping with Luna, even though RJ forgave it, is absolutely absolutely pulling apart the team. And at the last little business meeting that they were having, where it was like Hope and Ridge, I think, they were kind of talking about hope for the future, facing challenges again. And she just told Finn the other day that she is very worried about the fate of her line. RJ and Zende hate each other now. Hope has got no idea. At some point, it seems like she'll find out. But Thomas came back in and saved Hope for the Future before, when Eric and Zende tanked it with their designs. So I think he can do it again. And Hope and Thomas really, really loved working together. The fourth thing I think Thomas is going to do and needs to do when he's back is he needs to remind Hope why she fell for him. I mean, she was falling for him long before he even knew she was interested. You know, there was months where she was just had this whole one-sided fantasy thing in her head. He had no idea. And as soon as she kissed him in Italy, everything changed. And then when they got back, the second that Liam was like, no, I don't think our marriage is going to work, she ran right over, took off her rings, and hopped into bed with Thomas and stayed there for a week of episodes. She has barely been able to keep her hands off him. So yes, it was very much about physical chemistry, but I do not think Steffi was correct in that Hope was using him like a naughty toy. I don't think that's true. Or at least maybe if it started that way, it didn't end up that way, because it went from being a physical thing to also very heartfelt. She finally said she loved him right as she was turning down his proposal. And I think him being back will remind her why she fell for him. And if not, he could lock lips with her and remind her in that way. And the fifth thing I really think Thomas needs to do when he gets back is set some boundaries with Hope to shield his heart and protect his son, Douglas. I don't think, and I hope that Thomas is not going to run back to town and beg her to take him back. You know, I hope he's back and is like, okay, I'm back, but I'm not with you. And he's kind of standoffish. I think he needs to protect his heart, put up a wall. And, you know, he could still tell her, I love you. I'll always love you. I'll always want you, but I just can't let you rip my heart out. And I think that that would make her run to him, have to break down his walls, and her be the one who makes this effort. Maybe even her being the one proposing. I do suspect they will reunite in the end, but I think she needs to be the one that takes this step forward. We will see how it goes, but we know Thomas is back, and it's just going to be a few weeks until we have him on our screens. So subscribe if you haven't. Definitely drop your comments on what you are hoping to see Thomas do once he is back, and definitely come back soon, because we are here talking Bold and the Beautiful 7 days a week. And as always, I'm your host, Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.